My real name is Robert W. Thompson, but everyone calls me Bob Thompson. I have a bachelor's in civil engineering, graduated in 1962. I came back to OSU in the fall of 1964 and completed my master's degree with graduation in May of 65. My father was career military, which means I lived multiple places because of his employment as a artillery officer. We were at Lawton, Oklahoma many times because that's where the artillery school is. In the meantime, I went to the 9th grade in Würzburg, the 10th grade in Nuremberg, and the 11th grade in Frankfurt. So we moved every year. I went to my senior year in high school in Cedar City, Utah, and graduated from their high school in May of 1956. I started out in mining engineering at the Colorado School of Mines. I went to school there 2 years, and quite frankly, I wanted to get a vehicle, and my dad said we don't have enough money, so I laid out of school between my sophomore and junior year and worked underground at the Climax Mine, which was a very, very large underground operation. They were producing 33,000 tons of ore every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The reason for the change was simple. When I was working there, they moved me because they knew I was a mining student. And about March of 59, they moved me up into the engineering department. And while working there, I learned what the employment opportunities were likely to be if I finished my degree in mining. For that reason, I changed to civil. Because of the family background, I was considered a resident in Oklahoma. And I looked at OU and OSU, and I thought the program at Oklahoma State was a much better fit for me. And that's the whole deal. At Oklahoma State, I met my future wife. Her name was Linda J. Fulton. She was from Newkirk, Oklahoma, and had lived her entire life in Newkirk, totally different than me. She was probably a lot better known on campus than I was. I was carrying 20 to 22 hours every semester, almost all engineering courses. In all honesty, I was completely consumed time-wise to survive in that kind of workload. I was a member of Pi Kappa Alpha and played intramural football, but that's about it. Basically, I was kind of a nerd. I had to survive. When I first got out of school, I loved to ski. I had started skiing in Germany. When I graduated in 62, that fall, I worked as an apprentice at Arapahoe Basin as a weekend instructor. The next year, I was a regular weekend instructor in skiing, and I continued to teach skiing. I taught about 10 years at Arapahoe Basin, and then I moved down when they opened Keystone with a bunch of other guys, and I worked there for about 3 years, and then I had to give up ski instruction because it was conflicting with my work time. I remained very involved in skiing with my family and whatnot all these years. I skied. After my kids got out of high school, I started skiing racing in various formats, including masters racing. I also inherited from my dad the fishing disease, and I've been an avid fisherman all my life. And in addition to that, I did a lot of hunting with various friends, most of whom were either civil engineers or contractors. Obviously, I've spent my entire career in private practice in Denver. I worked a couple of years for one of the best structural engineering firms in Denver before I went back for the master's. After the master's, went into the geotechnical area. After about 6 years, I started my own firm, and I have gradually built the firm up to a pretty large regional operation. We have somewhere in the range of 280 employees right now. We had about 300 or 320 when I retired. I've just been very active in landslides, but I've also been very active in the area of unsaturated soils. We did the basic pavement design for the Denver International Airport. That pavement has performed well. We're 25 years out. It was designed for 40 years. it was on a highly expansive soil site. The method that I recommended was used, and the runways are smooth. I feel like I've had a very fortunate life, highly varied, different locations, good mix of professional employment as well as able to participate on outside things like hunting and fishing and skiing and things like that. So I've been fortunate in managing to keep all that together.